file has been attached to your file about an event of some kind at some kind of art co-op operated by undercity radicals. He seems like the sort that is used to hiding from the authorities. Maybe he, or someone he knows, is helping Cruz. You scroll through some of the small holos of what passes for artwork in Kevin's association. Yeah, Artwork in Kevin's association, and judging by the content, you feel that local domsec probably has Kevin on a list. You stand for a moment in the transport hub, considering your options. Let's go visit Kevin. The transit lift descends into the subsurface districts of the K-Argo. The air thickens with mildew and centuries-old machine lubricant. You pass through structural tunnels filled with cheap tenements, grey market retailers, and fringe ideologies. Grey markets, for those of you who don't know, are markets that are legal, so they sell the same goods as white markets, but they aren't taxed. So if you ever go to a convention and there is the open flea market where no one charges anyone any kind of taxes or anything like that, it's just exchange of goods, money and goods, and it's all no credit cards, no none of that, then that's a gray market. They are generally considered illegal. Your tripad's directions lead you to an address where Kevin Farrow held what the event called a militant conscientiousness happening. Along an anonymous stretch of shuttered depot fronts, you discover a secure door flanked by decaying polymer agitation prints. Chemmed out sleepers lie in entryways. It feels like the right place. We knock on the door. The damaged complete by the door speaks with a crackle. You're a dumbsec? We don't consent to search. Not with that, then some muffled words. The second voice interrupts. Shut up, or handle it. Hidden bolts withdraw and a man steps out. He puts on... Yes, that's right. Gray markets are definitely illegal. You can get away with it if it's like small enough. Like usually the principalities will just sort of look the other way. But if it's something where like considerable goods are being exchanged, then they definitely will not look the other way. But I mean, like in the US, if you owe the IRS like a dime, they will come after you. So typically, a lot of conventions, they will charge a flat amount per table for people to be able to be there, and then that will be taxed. And so generally, they can sort of have a little bit of wiggle room with that, where they can sort of still pay the taxes, and the government won't come after them. But at the same time, everyone's expected to pay all their taxes. But yeah, definitely Melroman. Gray markets are definitely illegal. Illegal, yeah. Hidden bolts withdraw and a man steps out. He puts on a sour scowl for you and is dressed in a mix of Dirt Strider approximation of spacer gear mixed with the accoutrements of some local counterculture fashion. He pulls the door closed and with a lowered voice says, "Ignore that." Is she in more trouble? Is this about the whole Galatia thing, isn't it? I assume you're Calvin... I assume you are Kevin Farrow. Yeah, obviously. He looks you over. You're not dumb, sack, or fleet. You a merc? Some kind of spy? Your friend was already sniffing around here. We told him to lick boots on Kaiseron. Kevin looks around, crosses his arms impatiently, and looks off down the Arco tube, making every effort to show that he doesn't want to talk. Well... Just act extremely conspicuous. Let's see. Who else is asking questions about Caruso? Want to help Caruso? Know where she is. Well, a cop would just say that he wants to help. Like, right? That's the whole thing that cops say. I just want to help, you know? Not to be discourteous to them. Like, a lot of police officers do actually genuinely just want to help you. But they have a job to do. Who else is asking about Caruso? Kevin considers you for a moment. So you're not working for him, huh? He slaps the comms plate. Hear that? That pig? Not Fleet. You lose. He turns back to you. Let's see. It was Finley, Agent Finley something. He tried to appeal to my patriotism as a citizen of the League and flashed his Fleet Sec ID at me. Oh, what a soulless minion of the Orthodoxy. Fleet Sec. He means the Persian League internal intelligence apparatus. Interesting. I don't know what you're playing at, Captain. Whatever your name is. You shouldn't be talking to me. It's dangerous. He puffs out his chest a bit at this, eager to bear the label of dangerous. Look, a free bit of advice. You know what's good for you, and Celia. Get off this planet. So don't come back looking for me, okay? Kevin slaps the comms plate, unlatching the door bolts. He turns back to you for a moment, but thinks better of it and disappears into the structure. Yeah, it's one of the things that's kind of funny is that when you go to areas that are more, when you look at social classes, for example, you have like the upper class, and respect is important there, but more or less it's how successful you really are, and you know how well you keep up with everything you're supposed to keep up with. It's more of like expectations than anything else. And if you don't meet those expectations, people just get rid of you, essentially. They just stop associating with you, and they put lots of barriers in the way that prevents you from getting anywhere near them. When you get to when you go to the middle class, there's a lot more emphasis on just, are you successful enough to like qualify? And then if yes, people care more about what you can get done and less about how respectable of a person you are. A lot of corporate sociopaths and psychopaths are in the middle class and in the lower upper class. Then you get to like the lower class and the working class, or whatever it's called in, whoever's country. And these people are typically exist in this very heavy respect-oriented culture, because the expectation is many of them are stuck working jobs that they otherwise would be able to move past if they had someone to sponsor them, but most of the time they don't get those opportunities. So they tend to be stuck in the lower echelons of society, making, say, less than, we'll say, making at poverty rate. So making at the poverty line for a country. So in the US, it's like 50 grand. And that's really the only opportunity they have. So a lot of their time, their entire culture is based around respect instead of what you've achieved or how much money you have. So it can be interesting, but that whole force of, I'm a dangerous person, I'm big and tough, and if you cross me, I'll beat the crap out of you, that kind of thing. So, this is what it is. We're seeing a bit of several layers here, which is nice. As you start to turn away from the dismal portico, the comms plate crackles once more. One more time, it speaks. You've made your point, sneaky Fen Season 2. The officerious voice through a distorted but damaged comms plate. An officerious plate. Yep, that's right. When you don't have like currency, when you don't have a means to really trade these things to get what you want, like respect is the only real currency you have. So it kind of just is what it is. Like if you're that guy and you have that reputation for like your neighbor's kid goes missing and you like get your shotgun and you go out there and you find out and you find out where they are, and you bring them home, everyone will like you. If you miss rent, people will probably give you money, or that you crash on their couch for a little bit. They'll help you, and also people won't mess with you. So there is something. An easy way to look at it is public defenders and district attorneys, specifically public defenders more than district attorneys, tend to get a lot of clout. Like if somebody is a public defender in the United States legal system, criminal legal system. So for those of you who aren't in the U.S., I don't know if you guys have public defenders where you are, but basically they're defense attorneys who work for the state and work and help defend people in criminal cases who cannot afford their own legal counsel. And it's usually at like a fifth the normal rate. So they still have to pay. It's just like $100 an hour instead of $500 or more. But yeah, like public defenders have huge social clout. Like almost like they can kind of walk around in the ghetto and people will leave them alone or help them. So like they can go places that most people can't. So, and they also get paid like practically nothing. They get paid like 50 grand a year in the US, 40 grand a year. But then you have, say, the middle class variant of, say, attorneys, since there's so much variance. We'll say you have your, let's go with your, like, probate attorneys. So, like, your estates and trusts attorneys. Everyone needs a will at some point. So these are the guys who take care of that. They make like around 190 to 100 grand a year. And so they're squarely, well, sort of square, not squarely, but they're in the middle class at least. Lower part of it, but they're still in it, at least in the U.S. And they tend to do pretty well. And it's less of that respect system there, but they're doing well enough. And then you have like your personal injury defense attorneys, which is where the money is, by the way, if you don't go into like international law and stuff like that. But personal injury defense attorneys can make over $1 million a year just from attorney work. So crazy amounts of money. And they are squarely in the upper class in almost every case, unless they're just brand new. Or they live in an area that's just really impoverished. Like if you work in LA as personal injury defense attorney, you'll probably make $1 million a year. If you do that in, say, I don't know, tiny town West Virginia, you'll probably still be wealthier than most of the people around you, but you're not going to be making $1 million a year. But those people, it's more about what obligations do you have. What are the appearances that you're required to keep up? All that good stuff. But yeah, it's there. Anyway, class is something that's interesting. This is something that is incredibly deep and varies by like region, and then by country, by region, by state almost. It's crazy. But all right. So an officer's voice, though distorted by the damaged comms plate, it signals an elite education and a relaxed authority that comes naturally to its speaker. You want us to know you're looking for Celia Carouse, and you're going to shout it from every street corner on Filkenhild until we acknowledge it. Agent Finley, right? You presume correctly, Captain. The voice sounds almost impressed. We should speak more in a discreet setting, Captain. I'll transmit my comms ID for you to contact. Leave this nest of anarchists be. Come back topside. Let us talk about our mutual interests. The comms plate sputters and dies with a lingering crackle as your datapad pings. It looks like you finally attracted the attention you were looking for. Your bodyguards silently take flanking positions 4 meters behind you, one on each side, as you walk back through the moldering Undercity towards the Civic Lift. You review Baird's list of Carouse's associates. It looks like you've cleared the best hits. And besides, You've a strong new lead to follow up on. You stand in the moment in the transport hub, considering your options. Return to our shuttle. Then let's talk to this guy. Finley. Sneaky Fen Season 2. Finally. May we speak directly. Finley Siliong at your service. Where's Cilia? Agent Siliong. Agent Siliong seems genuinely amused. A rather direct question to ask an agent of the service, don't you think? But that is the heart of the matter, and your profile suggests a certain propensity for, shall we say, direct thinking. Let me answer your question with a question. He leans in. Why should you know? Why should you know where Cilia Carus is? Sure. I'm helping Provost Anita Baird with some kind of secret project. Agent Sivion blinks and frowns as if he didn't expect you to simply come out and say it. I must admit your forthrightedness is somewhat disturbing. I advise you to be mindful of who you share your words with, he says sternly, particularly in consideration of what you're about to learn. And what's that? Carus is in the Ishra system. I will provide you. He pauses dramatically as he taps something out on his desk. As he taps something out on his desk console, your tripod pings with a plausible-looking data intercept of a communication between her and Mr. Caven Farrow. It'll show Provost Baird that you worked hard for it, he says with a wink. How do you know about Baird? Sivyong's smile widens a bit. I didn't. If I didn't, you just confirmed it. You're telling me where she is? I didn't tell you anything. He gestures towards you. You intercepted a communication, remember? Besides, Isra, well, it's not a big place, but I'm sure you put the pieces together soon enough. What's your endgame here? Why help me? Don't worry about it. You have a rogue scientist to track down, and on behalf of the Fleet Intelligence Service, I have nothing to say to you on the subject, nor have we ever met. I don't know you, you don't know me. Agent Sivion claps his hands together. I believe we are finished. What is it you people say? Burn bright, Captain? Goodbye. Have fun with that. Let me know how Anita likes things, or don't worry about it. Alright, officer, what do? You have point defense. It's useless to me. Alright, like, noxious. What do? Field modulation. I can hire you. Hello, Nubze Lore. Don't know if that one's too useful to me. Alright, sounds good. Right. Let's go. Oh, these guys dead yet? Probably dead very soon. Alright. Finding Carus. Mission given by Provost Anita Baird, affiliated with the Independents. And she is... We need to go to Ishra. Isra, right? Isra. I need to get these names. Oh yeah, sure. Fleet makeup is this. So the AI is horrible at flying anything larger than a frigate phase ship, so I really don't recommend that. All these ship builds are currently on, aside from these, but all these phase ships, their builds are on YouTube now. So you can check those out. They're among the latest videos posted, I believe. And they tend to work pretty well. Let's see, newbie. There you go. Also newbie. We're going to... Oh, we don't care about that. Mentor. Aggressive. Good. Okay, good. Everyone's aggressive. Also, as you probably noticed, we have 898 story points. We got tired of even bothering with that entire mechanic, so we just circumvented it with Command the Console, which you can do. If it's your first time playing Starsector, or among your first times and the story point system is still fun, or you're not trying to do something that is somewhat challenging, I suppose, like a space fleet build, then don't do that with story points. But after you've done it for enough time, or if you're trying to do something that is going to be interesting, or that you're having to spend a lot of story points on your fleet, then I highly recommend you just circumvent story points entirely. First couple of playthroughs, try not to use them on your ships or your colonies, just use them for events. But eventually it'll get to where they are just a pain. Which modded factions? So I haven't used any modded faction ships. So all of these are vanilla. And I think the problem with phase ships still sticks around, even with like modded ships. So like the AI is not very good at flying phase ships that are not frigates. It's just pretty bad at it because it just stays too close to people. But I've heard that Shadow Yards is good. The Hybers have some phase ships. I don't think some of the other ones do. If we go here, those are the mods I have installed in this playthrough. But, yeah, we can make eyes. It's just a cruiser. It's from the Hypers. I'm not using them. I used them before I got a Doom, but now we're just using Dooms. And, yeah. It's all pretty good stuff. It all works pretty well, and I highly recommend that you just have the AI fly Afflictors and Shades. Like, that's what I recommend for now. Because I haven't found anything else. But if I remember correctly, Shadow Yards has, like, mostly phase ships. I think it's, like, an entire faction built around phase ships. So, there's that. So, if you want a phase fleet that doesn't use vanilla ships, I would recommend that, probably. But that's about it. What I would recommend is Afflictors. So, if you want to run a mix of phase ships and like non-phase ships, I would recommend Medley Moras. You can find that on my YouTube as well. So, yeah, it's down below. Yeah, far side. So, far side that way. But I would recommend Medley Moras. A Mora has... It doesn't have great shields, but it's special, which the AI uses proficiently. Essentially allows it to absorb, like, damage, like, on par with a Legion. So, if you have, say, 5 or 10 Moras... If you have just 5 Moras, and you tell them to just hold a position, like in the middle of the map, or to, like, defend one of the Moras and have that Mora go around and do whatever it wants, then that will be really useful. And then you have, say, 20, like 10, 15, like, Afflictors, because now with Moras, especially Medley Moras, they can probably clear out most of the enemy fighters. Your phase ships will be able to just clear out everything for you. There's also the fleet size by deployment point mod, which you can use. So instead of having number of ships, it's based on number of deployment points. If you're wondering, this whole system with fleets, which is in vanilla right now, this really rewards you for going with lots of capitals. If you go with the deployment points mod, which is how things were, I think like 2 or 3 versions back, like maybe 4 or 5 versions back, that was based on deployment points, which meant that everyone just had a ton of like frigates. And the developers want people to use larger ships. They want people to use like capitals and stuff like that. But again, if you're using phase ships, the AI does not know how to fly anything larger than a frigate phase ship proficiently. At least not in this version. In previous version, before this whole system where your ship would slow down, before that was added, like these were okay, but still not great. So again, whatever phase fleet you decide to make, if you decide to have phase ships, only let the AI fly like phase frigates. And more importantly, make sure that there's reinforced bulkheads on them so that you can put your officers on non-phase ships if you want. But that's what I recommend. Alright, let's go to Isra. It's Isira. Yeah, let's go to Isira. To Luasil Habitan. Oh no, the pirates! They flew face first into a meat grinder. Oh no, they all died! Oh no, this guy's going to die horribly. Hello? Captain Sneaky Fan Season 2. The mercenary captain speaks flatly. Hands steepled before him. You have information which my employer would like me to share with him exclusively. Then he waits, perfectly content to let silence grow. Who exactly is this employer? My employer, the mercenary crosses his arms, who is interested in exclusive access to your information, who also has a passion for discretion. So you need not worry about your reputation if you sold at your own employer, he considers. Much. What information is that? He raises an eyebrow. I think you know perfectly well. He came here to find something. A small smile. Or someone. You appear to be traveling with purpose, full intent. After investigative activity at your last stop, my employer believes you have found what you were looking for, and would like you to share that information under exclusive terms. I don't respond well to threats. Oh! The merc tilts his head a few degrees to one side. Did I make a threat? You won't get anything from me. After your reply, the mercenary sits unmoving for a full 10 seconds, closes his eyes, and nods his head. I see. He opens his mouth again, looks at you again, unblinking. How disappointing. Good day, Captain. That's it? You're just gonna leave? That is it, he says, then pauses, unblinking. Until next time, Captain. Mercenary says, finally. He shuts the comms link down. Static devolves to black. Raw. Be gone. You will receive nothing from me. Nothing. Alright, let's repair all stuff. Let's talk to the Archon. Welcome, welcome. What business do you have with me today? You know anything about the Galatia incident? Yes, actually. Recent events in the Galatia system, right? Dangerous. What the Academy got up to, and while they deserved reprimand, the hegemony reacted with typical overreach. The Persian League filed a complaint with the Interfactional Dispute Council. Did you hear? We don't expect much to come of it, but someone had to say something, right? The Archon examines you for a moment, and then says, "Why do you ask?" You think something like that could happen here? Of course not, he says curtly. Of course not. I'm kept informed of all major industrial and research projects in this system. The pirates, the last word spoken with a tone of some annoyance, they aren't capable of anything truly catastrophic, unless another warlord shows up. But that's why we pay our share to the Persian League Armamentarium. The Archon sits up straighter. So I assure you, Captain, you have nothing to worry about while doing business here in Lewis Seal Habitat. What if Cruz is on station? Right now. He's looking nervous. I don't know what you're talking about, Captain. Without some kind of evidence, look, I have another appointment. Good day, Captain. The Archon hits the button and dumps you back to a holding pattern bearing a spinning crest of Lewis Seal Habitat's Executive Council. The Archon is hiding something, but you won't get it out of him. That's some kind of compelling evidence. Archon, Buttface. Let's go do stuff. I'm looking for Celia Caruso. I don't know her. If this query does not concern station business, I'm going to become very disappointed, Captain. He glances at a readout. Whoever you are, it's very important. A wonderful story, I'm sure. Unfortunately, I'm very busy looking after the safety of the station and the surrounding volume. Between Pathers, pirates, and imaginative independent operators, with the few resources given to me by the League are stretched very thin indeed. If you want to help pay your tariffs, keep your transponder on, and stay out of trouble. Thank you, Captain. Barely a moment between the end of his speech and the termination of the comms call. Let's go to the bar. What's going on, Tex? The station technicians, in grungy Lewis Seal Habitat jumpsuits, respond well to your offer to buy them around and listen to their troubles. You mentioned having had comms disruption and an ion storm once, and ask what sort of troubles they're having. It's strange, says the big one. It's the highest pitched voice from a big guy ever. There's no real pattern to it. Every few shifts it just goes zap. Lots of noise gumming up. Some of the orbital beacons. Boss man. Oh, you know what we gotta do. Boss man makes us go out and check the beacon, and nothing, and it's nothing. Lot of fooling around, and no reason, I say. Are you in us? No ion storm either. We'd know that, says the smaller partner. Ain't no natural what's it? What do you think it is? Ghosties, says the big one. Eyes wide. Smaller one sighs and mumbles under their breath. God's sake. The big one looks annoyed. No. Let me tell you about it. Let me tell you it. I told you I wouldn't run your ear about it no more. Anymore. But I kept him here. Ask nicely. Please go on. It's all them people that died in Groombridge when its reactor went critical. Big one says. No, not when critical. Was made critical. 'Cause it was murder. They got no peace, see? 'Cause it wasn't no clean death. And there's no justice. So they just call it out for someone to help them. That's what it is. A signal from Groombridge. Small one speaks up quietly. Can't know that. How do you know the interference is coming from Groombridge? Directional receivers, big one said. Looks proud. Yeah, but, small one interjects, I gotta remind you to reset the alignment origin on that thing half the time when we're out checking beacons. Noise could be coming from anywhere. Could be anything. Some pulsar or something. Thought you said it wasn't a natural source. Well, no, the small one sputters. I'm just saying it's an example. Anyway, they check their data pad. We gotta get back on ship. Bottoms up, Captain. The techs finish their drinks, give you their regards, and head out. You don't find their mixture of work and intemperance particularly reassuring. But maybe there's something weird going on in Groombridge habitat. If someone really is sending secret encrypted signals, it's probably Caboose. Probably. Alright, get out of here. Let's go check out Groombridge. Where is Groombridge? There it is. Alright. Let's go find out what's going on over here at Groombridge. Then we'll be back in time to murder those dirty hivers. Is there a bounty anyway? Bounties. Wonderful. What about these two? 53 days? 63 days. Ooh, baby. 7? 73. Hey. That might be nice. What's this? Bather base? Pirate base. Could be good for us. We'll kill these guys after we go to Groombridge. I think that should be fine. Search the station's source of the mysterious signal. The station's primary reactor has become stuck in the dirtiest possible failure mode. Considering standard safe mechanisms, this can only be the result of intentional sabotage. The rad counter ticks away impatiently. You assemble the senior officers to discuss the matter of secret comms bursts directed at Eastford system. A preliminary scan of the Groombridge habitat rotates slowly in the hollow projector display. Why here? I mean, rhetorically speaking, your NAS officer says. Because the only reason to relay signals from here to Louisville is if your signals were coming from a hidden hypercom relay. Your comms officer raises a hand, and at your nod speaks. It's unconventional, but Groombridge is uninhabited, so no one will complain about hyperwave wash. Your comms officer speaks next. Reactor's shooting rads like it is. No one would look too close. No scavengers. If there was a hypercomms relay here, how would we find it? Rat armored drones, your ops chief says. One-way trip. If a relay is in there, it'd have a damn strong rad shield, so we'd know what to look for. Do it. At the turn of the next shift, the armored drones are prepared, and your ops chief oversees their deployment. You follow their progress through the projection of Groombridge habitat. Filling in lazy volumes, shielded from your scans, are too radioactive to get a good read. The sharp details. An anomalous shielded mass is found soon enough in a damaged work bay, in close proximity to the deadly core of the station. Tech and comms begin discussing how to breach and hack the relay. Your ops chief growls an interruption. If I were them, I'd rig it to blow if it got looked at funny. The other officers got quiet. Sensors speak up. We've just intercepted an in-system signal, right? Assuming it's typecast, we should deploy a cloud of detectors. Your ops chief looks at the sensors officer and sighs. Make it so. Within a few hours of establishing a makeshift detection cloud, the relay sends a comm squirt. A whiff of an outburst signal is projected by your navigator on your flagship bridge main hollow display. The line points towards Louisville habitat. Not quite close enough. Maybe a relay in close orbit. This is the sort of tech Caruso is familiar with, and even if it is arguably circumstantial, it's weird enough to set up that you can probably scare the authorities and Lucille with the revelation. Ghosties indeed. With two different pieces of evidence, you feel confident that you have sufficient leverage to confront the authorities at Lucille Habitat about Celia Caruso. It's time to talk to the Archon of Lucille Habitat. Alright, Archie. Let's have a chat. He's probably going to send us over to the pirates. There, Archon. Welcome, welcome, you're back. I knew Celia's on the station, I can prove it. Of course, Now it's time to drive the point home. What inconvenient truth will you reveal to the Archon? The secret hypercomms array. As you upload sensor readings and scans recorded by the Rad Hardened drones, you explain to the Archon, Anka, what they show. But you discovered a secret hypercommunication relay on the derelict Groom Bridge habitat. It's been sending periodic transitions to a repeater close to Lucille Habitat. Someone has been talking without using official channels. The Archon goes pale. I was told that it'd be all above board. There's keeping secrets from me. There's no telling what they could be doing. You nod. The Archon shakes his head. How could this happen? They said there'd be no wild experiments. What about the thing with the radical? Over here, you explained the communication. You have a communication intercept sent by Kevin Farrow, a dangerous radical agitator on Filkenhild, to Celia Caruso on Lucille. If Fleet Intel knows about this, then what's their game? The Archon looks grim at this prospect. And if Fleet Intel doesn't know about this, then that's even worse, isn't it? As you forward the fake intercept, the Archon finally finds his words. They told me everyone would be quiet. No trouble, no games. Let me see Caruso. You don't owe the Persean League anything, Archon. I'm under strict orders to keep intelligence matters of the Persean League policy secrets. Well, Archon. Orders from Kaiseron. I can see who really runs Lucille. It's not like that. Lucille is free and proud. Small, yes, but strategically important, and not tied up to the nepotistic gens politics of Kaiseron. His face starts turning red. You don't understand. Out here, we have to work for a living. We face risks those fools can't imagine. What kind of deal is this league if they would wipe out a pack of pirates holed up on Capitine that have been hounding us for cycles, and the fleet taxes? The Archon Aka closes his eyes and takes in several deep breaths. He takes several deep breaths to meet your eyes with a new determination. You know what? You're right. The Archon's voice steadies, with a cold rage that's been building for many cycles, it seems. It's time to show them who Lucille belongs to. And it's not a bunch of Kaiseron Gen babies tracking dirt onto our fine station. Captain, take a shuttle. Meet me at the executive docking ring. Let's go see this Cilia Carouse. The Archon doesn't wait for you to reply before pounding the comms disconnect. You're left staring at the spinning crest of Lucille Habitat's Executive Council. Bastard, how dare he hang up on me? Let's meet the Archon and visit the safe house of Cilia Carouse. You step off your shuttle and meet the grim-faced Archon Akar and his entourage. You are introduced to the other 6 members of Lucille's Executive Council. The Archon assures you of their full support, though a surreptitious eye roll by one of the council members in the back suggests that the Archon's enthusiasm is not shared by all. Archon Unka speaks a quiet word to his comband, and a small squad of diversely equipped Lucille militia appears. Captain, let's go see that safe house, he says, and turns to lead your party towards the station transport shaft. We follow the Archon. The safe house is a low-rent commercial warehouse and a medium security volume of this station ring. The thin bulkheads leave you just within earshot of the thudding bass of the Twilt Entertainment concourse, a couple of sections over. As a score of officials and station militia approach the entrance of the safe house, a standard cargo lock, a trio of lounging League agents leap to their feet. Let's watch what happens. The station Archon strides forward, channeling the resentment you have stroked. Harangues the League agents for endangering the station, stomping on the rights of League citizenry, and above all, gross incompetence. The young Kazaronian agents in command wipes a drop of sweat from their forehead. Archon, we've got this. The League security demands... No, you don't. This operation is riddled with leaks. The Archon glances briefly at you, and your meltdown of an operation is a direct threat. To the security. To our security. Lucille Habitat is exerting its sovereign rights on this matter as of now, with the full support of the Executive Council. The League agent lowers their wavering pistol. And at that, the flaking agents lose the strength of their composure. The Archon takes the agent's pistol, checks the safety, then shoves the agent away, leading you to the airlock. The control panel gives way to executive override codes, and the Archon motions for you to pass through the armored doorway. We enter the airlock. A woman stands before you, holding a datapad, looking quizzically at the newcomers to this place. You look around the dark space, taking in the shadowy equipment racks, humming machines and cargo crates. A small zero-G style hab pad in the corner must be her domestic space. Cilia Carouse, I presume? Yes, that's me, she says cautiously. And Archon Akar. What do I owe the honor? The Archon nods towards you. Captain Sneaky Fin Season 2. Strange name. Who has a way of poking around in other people's business. Now it's your turn. I have a message for you. Archon Anka eyes you. A non-verbal inquiry about whether he is intruding. I'll let the two of you speak privately, Citizen Carouse. I'm informing you that you are now under the direct protection of the Lucille Executive Council. We shall ensure your safety on this station and, he casts a glance back at the League agents, and ensure your right to freedom of movement as per the Persean League Charter. Hello, new viewer. As if just remembering its existence, the Archon slips the League agent's pistol into his belt, nods, and steps towards the ongoing shouting match back in the airlock. Baird wants to see me, doesn't she? Carouse crosses her arms. Give her Baird's message on your datapad. You pass the datapad to Carouse. She takes it to the chair, set She takes it to a chair set at a workstation several meters away, activating a privacy field that dulls the sound and blurs her image. Look around. As you examine the workshop, racks of sub-AI processing cores sleep in coolant cradles, festooned with wires. And then an agrav equipped overhead winch holds a machine casing in safety locks above the microassembler, with its modular components exposed. The workbench nearby holds several multi-purpose engineering arms hovering over some device, its innards arranged like an exploded engineering diagram. A couple of minutes later, the privacy field collapses and Caruso emerges. She looks tired. She hands you the datapad and says, "I'll come." What did Barrett say? Bruce looks at you through hardened eyes and gives you an ironic half-smile. Barrett always gets her way. Didn't you know? Well, let's go then. Okay, but I need... Caruso looks over her workbench, computing array and projects in various states of completion. My things. You tell her that you'll have a special team that's well practiced in moving delicate scientific equipment. In fact, you'll introduce her to your ops chief and make arrangements right now. Within the hour, with the full cooperation of Lewis Seal Habitat's Executive Council and the station quartermaster, you have Celia Caruso and her equipment packed and transported to your fleet. Next up, Galatia Academy. There it always gets her way. 1 second. Turning off the heater. As we know, it's really cold in space. Actually, that's the exact opposite problem. If you're curious, in space is actually harder to stay cool than it is to stay hot. Alright, let's go fight this pirate armada that's attacking Lewis Seal Habitat. It'll make them like us slightly more. Let's join the battle. And now, here's the thing. So, when you're using a phase fleet, what you want to do is send your fleet around the back. Easiest way to do that is just put a defend point here and a defend point here. That will cause them to split up. Oh yeah. Like, if I remember correctly, Australia gets pretty hot and stays pretty hot for most of the year. And then, isn't that right? I don't think I've heard a lot of Australians talk about it like snowing or being really cold, but I've never been to Australia. I just know that it has a very, I don't want to say expensive because I don't think that's the right word, but it has a very in-depth, like, beach culture as far as I understand. Okay, let's go to the back of their line. Yeah, if I remember, Celsius to freedom units is like 2 point something. It's like 2.2 or something like that. But alright, let's slam into the back of their line. Let's go jump into an officer. We're going to, body snatch him, I guess. Who has an officer? I can usually see them from here. Oh, well, that works. We'll jump into that one. Depends where you are. Australia is the same size as the continent of the US. Most of it's pretty hot, but some areas can get snow in the winter. Yeah, it's like northern Australia where there's all the saltwater crocodiles. That one's probably warmer a lot of the time, I would assume. And then, what is it, like Victoria? The capital near on the southern shore, where the U.S. has, what is it, Murdoch Station, where we ferry stuff to Antarctica, for example. I'm pretty sure that's probably okay. Oh, yeah. Nice the stuff. Yep. Yeah. But Australia's a nice country. Okay, so our little spaceships here will just pretty much clean up everything that's here, and then this guy will be a problem, and that guy too, because they can just dodge a lot of our stuff. But with phase ships, whoever comes out of phase space first is usually the one who loses. But since they are focused on him... Oh no. Damn it. We reapered our friends. Northern areas are in the tropics. Most people live in the southern half. Yeah. And I'm almost as far south as you can get, and it's roughly... Yeah, it's like 100 degrees, yeah. Yeah, it can get really, really hot. Oh no! Oof! Man, we just dodged that Reaper. Gotcha. Oh, they're running for their lives. They're not allowed to leave. Come on, they know the rules. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, I think it was Mr. Bullen had something like that. Like, there's a whole lot of stories about the saltwater crocodiles in northern Australia. But yeah, southern Australia, nice place. What I've heard. Nice. Alright, so we're going to take a faction hit with Lucille because we shot them with a Reaper. Let's see. There were significant friendly fire incidents. There were. We don't want their pirate shade. Those things aren't very useful to us. Alrighty, let's go take care of these guys. Yeah, they're probably over here. And then we'll go kill the other people. It'll be great. Yeah, we have enough fuel. We should be fine. Alright, let's go. Alright, but if you're so if you're using phase ships, and the most powerful phase ship in the game is you get that through the Galatia Questline. It's really powerful. Invasion of Nexerelin. We have 68 days until the Hyrus show up and throw themselves face first into a meat grinder. Oh yeah, the Ziggurats super powerful. I usually go with the build that I'm going to be using is the one that doesn't use Reapers. It's on YouTube, but it works really well. Okay, there seems to be something over here. Oh, hello, Mr. Station. Someone's going to die. It's you. Okay, so we're just going to send all these guys in, and we're actually going to use the Harbinger. Let's full assault. Let's jump into the Harbinger. And the reason we're going to use the Harbinger is we can take down the station's shields and then smack them with our anti-melee blasters. For what is essentially guaranteed damage. Oh man, that poor fighter. Hate to be that guy.